As always, Aaron Rodgers, for the first time since the last time you and I spoke here on the Stinkin Truth podcast. Impressions of how Rodgers came across in his first days as a Steeler?
Yeah, you know what? I ended up watching the entirety of not the podcast, but the entirety of his press conference. And there were a lot of things that he mentioned in his press conference that I thought were interesting, right? He had talked about he wanted to go out being at peace with his career. And that struck me. And I don't know about you, but that would say that you're not at peace with your career for what happened the last 2 years. And, we talked about this, like, obviously he had injury issues early. And when I talked to him toward the end of the season in December, doing a game in Jacksonville, talked about, hey man, I twisted my ankle really bad. I had a hamstring that I pulled. Like, I was pretty much hobbled early throughout the season. And about week 8, week 9, I started feeling better, started feeling myself. And he started playing really good football. If you look toward the end of the season, what he was able to accomplish, what he did, he started moving around a lot better and being able to protect himself a little bit more. So there was that. But when he says, man, I want to just be able to be at peace with my career, I thought that was really interesting, because my first thought is, well, you're not at peace with your career and you've got something to prove. And, you hear the criticism, even though, a lot of people that are in the, in the public eye, a lot of athletes act like they don't hear, they don't listen, they don't pay attention. They all seem to have these rabbit ears, right? And they hear everything. And so I think there is that aspect of Aaron Rodgers that says, hey, listen, like, it didn't go like I had hoped it would go with the Jets. And it started with the torn Achilles, and then, the head coach gets fired and the general manager gets fired, and you guys, the Jets are a dysfunction, and the owner is, letting his 17-year-old son or whatever make decisions, and they're operating their franchise off of Madden ratings and, whatever, the rumors were or the things that were out there. But there does feel this sense that Aaron Rodgers, who has been one of the best all-time QBs that we have ever watched, one of the best accuracy guys, best touchdown to interception ratio guys, just the best players that we've ever watched, had these diminishing skills. And it seems to me, when you address that and say, hey man, listen, man, I want to be able to go out in peace with my career, it says that you are uneasy about the way things finish with the Jets, and you want to prove that you're still Aaron Rodgers, the MVP caliber quarterback.
I also think that for a guy who tries so hard to come across as anti-establishment, I think he does care about his place in history, his legacy, and maybe the understanding. We've talked about his time in Green Bay a lot over the years, Mark, about how, the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, the dynasty that never was. He won that one championship a long time ago. And I think this guy's smart enough to realize that, you want a seat at the big boy all-time quarterback table, you probably got to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, 4 MVPs puts you probably at the big-time table. But, and this is no secret, man, I have an affinity for Rodgers. I have a relationship with him. I love the guy. I really do. As just a human, I love him. Now, there are times I think he acts like a complete and total ass, and, I'll let him know that. But at my core, I truly love the guy. So I really want to see it finish the right way. And he has been so good for so many years. I would love to see him, quote unquote, catch lightning in a bottle and lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs and maybe a playoff win. And that to me would be great. And, it's funny because Arthur Smith, their offensive coordinator, had a press conference yesterday after their first day of minicamp or whatever, and talked about, hey man, we're not going to be running the wishbone. Like, we're going to put our players in the best possible position to win. And one thing that Aaron and I had a conversation about when he was with the Jets was how abysmal their running game was and how schematically it made no sense. And I brought up the conversation. I started the conversation, and then Aaron went on for about a 25-minute diatribe on just their run game. But I was like watching the Jets last year. It was the worst schematic, the worst kind of just the worst schematic run game I've ever watched in the NFL. Like I kept watching plays. Yes. There's a difference between having guys that can't block people. I mean, I've seen that too, right? But having your players do things that make zero sense. Like, this makes no sense. Why in the world would you block this way? This scheme has zero, there's zero chance of that being successful. And you look at it and you're like, why in the world would you guys do it that way? And so time and time again, I kept seeing things that are like, that is just dumb. Like, why would you do that? Like, there's no way you can be successful doing that. And so I asked Aaron about it, just about the run game in general. And I said, man, this is like, it's really bad. This, and he went on this diatribe just about, the dysfunction of what we're trying to accomplish and all these different things. And so one thing I know about Arthur Smith, he does a great job in the run game, and he does a great job with personnel groupings, multiple tight ends, multiple running backs, really run the ball. And he marries, and this is where he comes from, marrying the run game with the play action game. Mm-hmm. He's excellent at that, right? So all of a sudden, if you look at them and say, hey, man, we're going to run this out of 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end. Now we're going to flip it to 12 personnel or 13 personnel. We're going to have all these different, personnel groups, and we're going to run the snot out of the ball, and we're going to set up play action. And the way I look at this for Aaron is that we're going to take care of first and second down for you. We're going to take care of base downs. Base down to me is first down and 10 and second down and 5-. Let my offensive coordinator run those. That's your job. As an offensive coordinator, your job is the first and 10 and second down and 5-, because those are your base downs in the NFL, right? That's where you run your base package stuff, and that's where the play caller is really involved. Mm-hmm. Hey, give me third down and 6+. Mm-hmm. That's Aaron. Let me find out the matchup I like the best, and let me go to that matchup.
Elway would always say that to you guys, right?
Yeah, he'd be like, your guys' job is first and second down. Right. My job is to convert on third down. Mm-hmm. And so you find this marriage between play caller and between quarterback that works. And I think Aaron's in a place right now, and I know he's this way with Green Bay as well, because I talked to him about it with LaFleur. He was like, it took me a while to trust LaFleur to take care of the base downs and just let me be a quarterback on third downs. And so if you can get to that place early with Arthur Smith, you can get there. I really think that can really help them. And there will be a lot of people out there, and this is for you Pittsburgh Steelers fans, that will say, well, their offensive line wasn't very good. And they gave up a lot of hits and a lot of sacks and a lot of this, that, and the other. And a lot of that goes to the guy who played quarterback for you, Russell Wilson, because he's notorious for taking sacks and holding on to the ball and not getting rid of the ball when he should, and escaping out the side of the pocket, and I go on and on and on. But a good play caller will eliminate a lot of pressures because you'll keep people off balance. So a good play caller that understands how to use personnel groupings, how to get into to advantageous kind of angles and advantageous play calling, and how to use the play action, the run action, the boot game, all those things bode well when you have a quarterback that can orchestrate on third down to really help solidify the group up front. They had injuries. They had some other stuff as well that hurt them along the way. But I'm really interested. Hey, man, it may all fall apart, Mike, but I'm really interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, and boy, the thought about Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf together.
Yeah,
I mean, it may never be like Aaron and Devontae Adams, but could be close.
Dude, he's big, he's strong, he's physical. He is going to be the go-to guy. There's no question on, in those critical situations, that's where Aaron Rodgers is going to look to first. And I think that's a great thing. The other thing that I think will really help DK is Aaron is of all the people I've talked to over the course of my years of calling games, Aaron is maybe the most thoughtful, intelligent guy when it comes to just football in general that I honestly have ever spoken to. Like he'll tell you what the coverage is going to be based on the defensive front. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, oh, they're running an under front or 25 front. Yeah, we're going to get cover one with the safety rolling down on the strong side, so we're going to get, I mean, he'll be like, oh, they're playing an even front. Well, I know I'm getting, I mean, it's just it's uncanny.
It's, and I know you've talked about this before, but Rodgers is a fascinating figure to me because we see the public, right? We see the public Aaron Rodgers and some of the stuff that's just, it's wild. It's out there. It's interesting stuff. But then, I talk to somebody like you and I come away, the other side of Rodgers is this guy is a football savant.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just, he knows football. He loves, I think the most underrated thing is he loves talking football. When you guys have your conversations and it is about football, the guy, you can't shut him up.
No. A couple of years ago, I was doing a game. I can't even remember who they were playing. I think it might have been Detroit. And this is years ago when Detroit wasn't any good. And Aaron said, like, he was in this pensive state, this pensive thought. And he said, how would I play me if I was a defensive coordinator? And he started like just talking to himself during the, he's like, would I blitz me? No, I'm blitz me. I'd cut you up. Like, would I play soft? If I play soft, you're going to give me time. You're only going to rush 4 and I can move around. No, we're going to have a big play, extended play, and he's just like, he's not even looking at it. He's just like talking to himself like, oh, what would I do? And it got to the point where I was like, well, basically there's nothing they can do. Like they're going to get crushed. And they did. They got crushed. So anyhow, but it was just kind of funny because he started looking at it like thinking about, gosh, if I was them, what would I do? And anyhow, I find him intriguing. Yeah, he can be a little bit of a nut job, but I love him. So,
and he's married. He dropped that on us as well. Yep. That he got married. So
I know.
Congratulations.
Tell us who?
No. Again, Aaron Rodgers, man of mystery.
That's right.
He just adds some mystique.